The Galactic Council's emergency session had been called for the third time in as many cycles. Ambassador Zephyrian of the Crystalline Collective tapped his translucent fingers against the obsidian table, creating a melodic chime that echoed through the vast chamber. Around him, representatives from 47 different species displayed various levels of anxiety, from the nervous chittering of the insectoid Vexhai to the deep, rumbling growls of the ursine Grondak. "The situation has become untenable," announced High Arbiter Keith Lynn, her four eyes scanning the assembly. "The devourer of Kepler 442b has claimed another world. The entire Helian civilization, 6 billion souls gone in mere rotations." A collective shudder rippled through the chamber. The devourer was legend made flesh, a creature of such terrifying magnitude that it existed in the nightmares of every spacefaring species. Standing 30 meters tall with razor-sharp chitinous plates, 6 muscular limbs ending in bone-crushing claws, and a maw filled with teeth that could slice through titanium, it had been the apex predator of the galaxy for millennia. "Perhaps," suggested Ambassador Quill of the Avian Federation, his feathers ruffling with distress, "we should consider evacuation protocols for all Outer Rim colonies." "Evacuation?" thundered General Morgtar of the Grondak Republic. "We are warriors, not scavengers fleeing from—" "Excuse me," interrupted a calm voice from the back of the chamber. Every head, sensor array, and optical organ turned toward the source. Captain Sarah Chen of the Terran Coalition stood with relaxed confidence, her hands clasped behind her back. The humans had only recently been admitted to the Galactic Council, after their impressive showing in the Centauri trade disputes, but many still considered them primitive newcomers. "Captain Chen," acknowledged High Arbiter Keithlin with barely concealed condescension, "the Council appreciates your perspective, but this is a matter requiring experienced—" "We'll handle it," Chen said simply. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of sounds, clicking, roaring, buzzing, and harmonizing in universal expressions of disbelief. Ambassador Zephyrian's form brightened with amusement. "Handle it. Captain, with all due respect to your species' enthusiasm, the Devourer has laid waste to 17 worlds. Entire fleets have been reduced to space debris by this creature." Chen shrugged. "Sure, but we've been tracking it for the past few months. Our xenobiology team has run extensive studies on its hunting patterns, metabolic requirements, and ecosystem impact." She paused, a slight smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "We've determined it's an invasive species." "Invasive?" squeaked Representative Pip of the Rodentine Collectives. "Oh yes," Chen nodded, "and humans have a long history of dealing with invasive species." She activated her holographic display, showing images of various Earth creatures. "Take the European rabbit in Australia, Asian carp in North America, or Burmese pythons in the Everglades. Same principle applies here." General Morgtar's massive frame trembled with barely contained laughter. "You compare the Devourer, the terror of the galaxy, to a rabbit?" "Well, not exactly," Chen admitted. "The Devourer is definitely bigger and more dangerous, but the fundamental approach remains the same." She switched to a new slide showing detailed anatomical scans. "See? Here's the thing about apex predators. They get complacent. They've never had to worry about being hunted." High Arbiter Kethlin leaned forward. "Captain, surely you're not suggesting—" "Hunt it? Absolutely." Chen's smile widened. "But first, we need to understand what we're working with. The Devourer masses approximately 2,400 tons, primarily muscle and chitinous armor. High protein, content low fat. The armor will be tough, but our preliminary analysis suggests the meat underneath should be quite tender." The chamber fell silent. Ambassador Zephyrian's crystalline form flickered rapidly, a sign of extreme confusion. "Meat," he whispered. "Oh yes," Chen continued enthusiastically. "Our culinary team is already working on preparation methods. Chef Rodriguez is particularly excited about a slow-roasted approach with traditional Earth spices. Of course, we'll need to harvest it fresh, can't let meat that size spoil." Representative Pip fainted. Chen continued as if nothing had happened. "The real challenge will be logistics. We estimate each devourer could feed roughly 50,000 people for a month. That's a lot of distribution to coordinate. Each, General? Morgtar's voice had climbed 3 octaves. Well, our scans suggest there are at least a dozen of them in this galaxy cluster. Maybe more. We'll need to set up proper hunting seasons to ensure sustainable harvesting. The High Arbiter stood slowly, her 4 eyes fixed on the human captain. You want to eat the devourer? Among other things, Chen nodded. The chitinous plates will make excellent armor plating for our ships. The bones, well, calcium. That dense has numerous industrial applications. And those claws perfect for decorative purposes. Some of our collectors are already placing orders. She switched to another slide showing what appeared to be a restaurant menu. Devourer steaks, the ultimate surf and turf experience. Read Ambassador Quill weekly. Satisfaction guaranteed or your planet back. Marketing came up with that. One, Chen said proudly. A bit aggressive, but it tests well with focus groups. General Morgtar had gone completely silent, staring at the human with something approaching religious awe. Chen noticed the attention and cleared her throat. Look, I understand this might seem unconventional to you all. But Earth has a saying, if you can't beat them, eat them. Well, actually, that's usually join them, but the principle applies. She gestured to her display showing a fleet of human vessels. The Terran hunting fleet is already en route to the Kepler system. We should have the first devourer processed and packaged within the week. Of course, we'll be happy to share with our Galactic Council allies. Share? Squeaked several voices simultaneously. Absolutely. Think of it as a cultural exchange program. We provide pest control services. You experience Earth cuisine. Everyone wins. Chen paused thoughtfully. Well, except the devourers, but that's rather the point. High Arbiter Kethlin slowly returned to her seat. Captain Chen, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I believe I speak for everyone when I say... She paused, searching for words. This is either the most brilliant or most insane plan we've ever heard. Chen grinned. On Earth, we call that Tuesday. 3 cycles later, the emergency session was called off permanently. The Galactic Council received regular shipments of what humans cheerfully labeled devourer delicacies. The nightmares that had plagued civilizations for millennia had been reduced to a lunch special. Ambassador Zephyrian often reflected on that day as he enjoyed his weekly devourer sandwich. Humans, he had learned, possessed a unique gift. They could look at anything in the universe, even the most terrifying apex predator imaginable, and ask not, how do we survive this? But rather, how do we cook this? It was, he admitted, both, deeply disturbing and oddly comforting. The galaxy was a safer place, and considerably more delicious.